Shalom, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Ba'asham Rachak Kodash. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, pushing this 100% truth waking up and sealing the elect of the nation of Israel through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh. And salutation to all you sincere Alchemist that are pushing this gospel in all righteousness and sincerity, risking your lives and your freedom to do so. Right, this is your brother Abawan once again with another lesson, and this lesson is based off. There's this law that the other apostle Tahai, whenever he talks about how if you go into the laws, that these other camps don't usually go into the law because there are laws that they completely ignore, and there's one that he specifically likes to bring out, as laws that are often ignored, and this is it right here. Okay, the book of Deuteronomy 19. So okay, wrong one. Deuteronomy 25, I meant. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 11, and it reads, "When men strive together one with another, and the wife of the one draweth near for to deliver her husband out of the hand of him that smiteth him, and putteth forth her hand, and taketh him by the secrets, then thou shalt cut off her hand, thine eye shall not pity her." Alright, and the point I wanted to get is in Deuteronomy 25, verse 12, which is basically, "Thine eye shall not pity her," and that is that's going to be the title of this lesson. Right, thine eye shall not pity, because because what you have in the laws, you have some extremely harsh laws for according to this current system, this current world's logic. You have some extremely harsh laws that when people read it, it starts to mess them up. It gets them all messed up, and they just sweep it under the rug, or they basically they just completely ignore these laws because they feel like it's too harsh, or they feel that they feel like there's no way to rationalize the Most High having these laws. And you see all these basically atheists use some of these laws against the Christianity, which of course they don't even understand or follow the laws, so it always works on them. Two things that you can use against Christianity: prophecies and laws. But anyway, the reason I wanted to go into this was because that phrase, "thine eye shall not spare," and let me open it up right now. Okay, "thine eye shall not pity." It is used in multiple laws in the scriptures, which is basically going into the different harsh you could call them harsh judgments for breaking these laws, which are always resulting in death, except for in the case of the woman that holds another man's that holds another man's secrets, which is basically his nutsack, his testicles, which is just what to have our two hands cut off. Alright, so most of these laws have the death sentence or the death penalty on them. But of course, there are reasons for this, because the Apostle Aramla recently did a video about concerning that if the Most High gives you a law, He will give you a reason, all right, for why you should keep these laws and why the judgment is as thus. Okay, so I'll start from Deuteronomy 13 verse 8. Deuteronomy 13, and it reads. Deuteronomy 13 verse 6. "If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, Let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers, namely, of the gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto thee or far off from thee, from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. Thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him, neither shall thine eye pity him, neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him, but thou shalt surely kill him. Thine hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterward the hand of all the people." Okay, so basically it's telling you that if one of your family members, one of your Jake, one of your family members suddenly just decides that they wants to worship these pagan gods, the gods of the heathen. Like most like basically that's the death sentence straight up. If he tells you that secretly, you're not supposed to just hide that fact or say that they don't try to convince the person otherwise. You're supposed to just take that person out because in the scriptures there's also something called you have to put evil for you have to put out evil from among you. Alright, so now say that again, you have to put out evil from among you. Okay, because what the worshiping of these idols, man, is evil because what it goes into all these things. First and foremost, the biggest the biggest sin about worship, the biggest sin concerning worshiping idols is what they are leaving the Most High, how about Hashem Yahushai, our power. As scripture says that in the book of Jeremiah chapter 2, I believe. As what you leave your Most High, the fountains of living waters, and you hear what this broken systems that can hold no water, which are basically these false idols. So if somebody rises up among your family members that wants to entice our people, right, to worship other gods, I want to tempt our people into worshiping other gods, that straight up that person should be put to death, okay? Because what he's trying to steal the Most High's heritage from him and give it to some random ass idol that doesn't even exist, or that isn't even real, that can't even be worshipped because it's not even alive. The scripture said that you should not pity them, even though they are your family, they are your family members, okay, that they are of the same bloodline as you. They are not supposed to pity them, they are supposed to they are supposed to bring down the judgment on them, which is basically what I want. That's basically what I want to focus on. That phrase right there, okay, that Deuteronomy 13 verse 8. Thou shalt not consent unto him nor hearken unto him, neither shall thine eye pity him, neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him. So basically, right, you're supposed to just bring down the judgment straight up. No pity, alright, no trying to rationalize it, no trying to hide him from the people or trying to convince him otherwise, okay? Because you see, because and let me because you see here in this kingdom, we were taught to reason with our emotions, okay, to reason with how we feel about different things, but that's not actually the case, okay? That's not how it's supposed to be. All right, we're not supposed to reason with our emotions, but we're supposed to reason with we're supposed to be emotional, okay, especially as men, because what you tell you that it's women that are emotional but men are logical. All right, but you're not supposed to be emotional as men, but you're supposed to be. I always use the term rational above logical because and let me get that definition, because when you talk about logic, okay, I'm talking about a step by step linear path, okay, which is basically all right, straightforward. That's what. And let me just get that definition. Logical. I think it's logical in agreement with the principles of logic, reasonable, of or pertaining to logic, okay? So now I want to get the definition of logic, and it is a method of human thinking that involves a method of human thought that involves thinking in a linear step by step manner about how a problem can be solved. That's basically what logic is. It just means going straight forward, okay? It just means following a straight path towards the solution, right? But we know that the scriptures are manifold, right? We know that the scriptures have many deep meanings, okay? It has many loops and it has many turns and bends that can confuse you. So if you're using a linear mindset, if you have a linear mindset of being logical, because there are so many things that are written up in the scriptures that aren't that they don't make any sense if you look at it from a logical perspective. All right, which is why I prefer to use the term rational, which let me get that as well. Which basically rational just means capable of reasoning, all right, or logically sound, not contradictory or otherwise absurd. Which is basically what the first definition of what I want to get, capable of reasoning. Okay, so what we're talking about now is that instead of us to deal with our emotions, we deal with reasoning. Okay, we look at you look at the laws, you understand why it is like this, why is it thus, okay, why are these laws and the judgments for breaking these laws like in this way, okay? What are the reasons why the Most High has set such judgments, okay, that if you try to sway our people and put them in idolatry, if you as a woman, right, see your husband fighting another man, and the man is The one is whooping that ass, he's beating up your husband, and you go to intervene, which of course, you would think that, oh yeah, this is a good way of trying to fight and defend our husband, but of course that's not the case, because why would you as a woman go up and fight against a man, which is basically, even if it's not your husband, a man is still above the woman. So why would you as a woman go and fight against, go and fight a man? Just that reminds me of, all right, Uzziah. If you remember in his I believe that is the book of Second Samuel, right? When King David was bringing back the ark from the Philistines, okay, and he was carrying the ark. The Levites were carrying the ark, and the ark slipped and almost fell down. But Uzziah, he did not want the ark to fall, so he went to go and grab the ark. But Uzziah was a Judite, and the Most High had already given a decree that only Levites were allowed to touch the ark. That any tribe or any nation, anybody that wasn't a Levite that touched the ark would be struck dead immediately. Right. So what Uzziah did, that was the right thing. Trying to catch the ark, trying to stop it from falling. But you know what? We already know what the scriptures say. Isaiah 55 verse 11. That so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth, and it shall not return to me void. Okay. So the Most High had already spoken, so he must do. And Most High had already warned warned our people. Everybody knew that if you are not a Levite and you touch the ark, you would die. Okay, so Uzziah touched the ark and he died. They tried to protect the ark from falling. Alright, but the Most High still brought down that punishment upon him, because laws, like I said, there are laws and there are judgments. Okay, and let me just say this: this isn't a video that we're doing is saying that you have to keep all the laws. Okay, or I have to do all these laws, or any law that I bring out. You have to do it in this side, because we already know that we are no longer under the law. Okay, we are under the grace of Yahweh Shai. But what we're speaking about these laws, because in the kingdom, right, everybody will follow these laws. But for now, okay, for the time that we are living in, for this period, we are not under the law, but we are under grace, because you read those laws. Okay, you read them together. The Most High is telling you straight up, I will not pity you. Okay, if you break these laws, there will be no pity for you, there will be no forgiveness. You are going to be put to death straight up. Okay, and of course we know that in this kingdom we have committed so many laws that are deserving of death. Okay, deserving of exile, because there are laws that are have those kind of punishment, that will be cut off from our people, will be cast out of the congregation. All right. So we know that there are laws like that, and we know that there's so many of us are guilty of some of these laws to death, laws to exile. But because of that grace that Yahweh Shai had, because of the grace of Yahweh Shai dying on the cross for us, because he was that sacrificial lamb, we can come back to Yahweh Bashim. You can go back to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh. You can go back to Yahweh himself. Alright, no matter how many, no matter how many laws we commit, as the scripture says, come and let us reason together. And let me get that, because that precept is beautiful, and I haven't gotten it in a while. Once again, that's reasoning. The come and let us reason together. Though your sins are scarlet, and I will wash you and make you white as snow. Or here it is, Isaiah chapter 1 verse 18, and it reads, come now and let us reason together, saith Yahweh. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow, and though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. And that's basically it. Okay, because through Yahweh Shai's sacrifice, we have a way to come out to the Most High even after we sin. Okay, because we know that we are not perfect. Okay, we know that we still commit sins up unto this day. Okay, but because of that sacrifice of Yahweh Shai, we can come back to the Most High. We can come back, especially if we commit all the grave offenses that we commit. Okay, but now you still can't ignore the facts that these laws, the judgment and the punishments for these laws are death. Okay, which is why the scripture said that what the wages of sin is death. So you see that that there are so many laws. Let me go back to that. Okay, because now you see that there are so many laws that because you know that there are so many laws that are the judgment for breaking those laws are to be put to death. Like for example, the Sabbath. Breaking the Sabbath. That's the death sentence. Okay, adultery gets the death sentence. Okay, homosexuality death sentence. fornication, and all these other things, get a death sentence. Being if you are being found as a false prophet, it's also a death sentence. There are also the other laws that are actually that known. Right, like for example, an animal that is under your house that kills another Israelite, or just basically in general, murdering, killing an Israelite, rising up against your brother for no reason. That's a death sentence. Okay, the reason why I'm bringing these things out is because of the current mindset that we have here in Babylon is that some of these laws are too harsh. Like for example, the law concerning, right, a rebellious child. Okay, how if how if your child is rebellious, okay, and no, let me get that preset, like, yeah, I'm rambling a little bit too much, so I just want to get it so I'll not butcher it. Okay, um, remember how it goes. I don't remember how it goes. I just type something and say that it come out. Um, okay, it is Deuteronomy 21, verse 18, and it reads, "If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him, will not hearken unto them, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him, and bring him out unto the elders of his city, and unto the gate of his place, and they shall say unto the elders of his city, that this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. And all the men of the city shall stone him with stones that he die. So shalt thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear." Okay, now you have it right there. The phrase that I mentioned earlier. So shall thou put evil away from so shall thou put evil away from among you. Okay, so that is that is basically it for why the reason why all these laws have the judgments of what death, because because first of all, because once, because the reasoning, an example has to be made. Okay, so that when people see it, when the other children see that this is the price for this is the price of a rebellion, because what the scriptures say, a rebellion is a sin of witchcraft. Okay, so this is there was like that was rebellion against the Most High, but it still applies to the parents. But anyway, because when the other children see the judgment for rebellion, they'll be too scared to act against their parents, so they will obey and they will do as their parents want. All right, and this is the reason why you have so much wickedness in Babylon today. This is the reason why this is the reason why the whole this whole this whole world is so messed up today, so polluted, so defiled today, because what because the Apostle Paul always mentions this, and he uses the example of, okay, Moses and Jethro, when Moses was judging all the problems that that developed in when our people came out of the land of Egypt, and Jethro, his father-in-law, saw him and asked him, why is he the only one that is judging among the entire congregation of the Israelites, which are what, millions, nearly millions of people. And Jethro just suggested that Moses appoints smaller judges to judge. But basically, what was going into is that any small problem, the smaller judges, the elders that Moses had appointed, will handle those problems, and any big problems will come to Moses. But what what is a big problem? A big problem is a small problem that is left alone and is left to grow and to fester and to grow. Right? Like for example, the little living that leavens the whole lump. Okay, and then what makes the lump that has been living to grow, to rise. That's basically what has happened in this kingdom. A little wickedness was allowed to fester and to grow because people thought that, oh, this is harmless. Let us just leave it big. Okay, and it continued to grow and to grow until it came to this level. Okay, this level of depravity that is now normalized, and everybody is now involved in it. Okay, where you are living in a kingdom where unrighteousness and wickedness is exalted and performed, on a high level, but righteousness, any form of righteousness is shunned and looked down upon. Okay, you come to a kingdom where even the people that stand for righteousness, the Israelites, are shunned and looked down as, they are, basically have been put at the bottom, and are shunned and looked down as less than human. That's what you have. That's what you have in this kingdom. Because what, as the scripture says in the book of Second Ezra 15. Let me get that. Let me get that. The 15th chapter. So this is Second Ezra 15 verse 6, and it reads, "For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled." That is basically it. Okay, wickedness has gone too far in this world, and that was because of what? Because a little bit of wickedness, that little bit of living, had been allowed to grow and to fester and to continue. Okay, instead of it being nipped in the bud, being cut out as soon as it started to grow. Okay, because you have, it was not allowed to continue and to continue and to grow, and now became all the way wicked. Okay, because, comparing how things were 20 years ago, when people, when how things were just 10, 20 years ago, it wasn't up to this extent. It wasn't, things weren't as bad as this. Okay, that, of course, you had you had the wicked world during that time as well. But you see how things are just escalated up to the extent where, you can't, a person that, like, from, you can't even recognize the world from 10 years ago. You see, the world going into a complete global collapse. You see this, you see Esau pushing his agenda heavily. Okay, you see, alright, different forms of wickedness normalized. The homosexuality, the transsexuality, and all that. That's all been normalized. Degeneracy has all been normalized. And now everybody's adopting that mindset and thinking that this is the right way to live. Okay, this is the correct way to live, and now nobody remembers, alright, how to even live. How to even live on the earth, how to live righteously, because they've been living in wickedness for too long. So now you understand why the Most High has to bring that destruction and completely wipe out this kingdom. To bring back, and that standard, that order, which is the Lord, or the order that is made from the Lord. Okay, because even the Most High, even Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and this is something that this is something that these Christians did. Okay, but of course, that the Most High does not pity. Okay, you go into the book of Ezekiel where it talks about, where it give the angel that charge. Spare not old nor young. Let me get that. Spare not old nor. What now it goes? You see that should not, that give charge to that angel. That should not spare old or young, but destroy utterly. The book of Ezekiel, but I cannot remember the exact precept. I think it's spare neither. Here it is. I look of Ezekiel chapter 9. From verse 3, Ezekiel 9 verse 3, and it reads, "And the glory of the Most High of Israel was gone up from the cherub whereupon he was to the threshold of the house, and he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. And Yahweh said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And to the others he said in my hearing, Go ye after them through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women. But come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary." Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. And of course, we know what the scriptures say, that they will be as the Most High. Yes, I'm going into the book of Zechariah chapter 12. Where it says that. Let me get that. Let me get that. Let me get that real quick. Zechariah chapter 12, 12 verse 8, where it says, Zechariah 12 verse 8, in that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as the Most High, as the angel of Yahweh before them. So basically, okay, when we're in the kingdom, we will be as the Most High, we will be as, we will be, basically, we will be, as just say, we will be gods in that kingdom. And we'll be one with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. I mean that our thoughts will think as he does, because he will put all the laws in our inward parts. So we will have the same mentality that the Most High does, which is to not spare and to not pity, okay, but to execute judgment and to execute righteousness indiscriminately. So now all the laws will be enforced indiscriminately by us in the kingdom. Whereas we won't spare, we won't have pity, but we will put out all the evil from among us. We will bring down that judgment, no matter how harsh it is, upon anybody that disobeys these laws. So now you should know the reason why these laws have to be enforced indiscriminately, because you know a good example would be in the book of Esther. All right, when Queen Vashti disobeyed, and what was his Darius, I believe it was Darius, his wise men, they gave him the advice. They advised him that what he should put away Vashti and bring up and basically remarry and marry another queen. And their reasoning was, and let me get that in the book of Esther. This was their reasoning. Here it is, Esther 1 verse 16, and it reads, and Memucan answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, not Darius. Okay, that was my mistake. Right, but Ahasuerus. Continue on. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes. When it shall be reported, then King Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. That is basically it. These laws are done to set an example, okay, so that anybody that sees the judgment is come forth will hear and will fear, and it's also to stop others, stop evil from being multiplied, okay. Because when you have an unrighteous judgment, you have somebody that discriminates in his judgment, like Esau, Edom. Okay, you have liars that that allow that allow wickedness to flourish in their kingdom. What do you get? You get this degeneracy. You get a wicked kingdom, a kingdom that that is as far away or as contrary to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai as can be. That's what you see going on right now. Okay, when you see all the wickedness, everything that is against the scripture, you read every single law, and you see that these laws are what they are shunned. They cannot even keep a single one perfectly on this side, because what all these laws, and this again. So let me just change the Bible app. I don't know why this adverts start coming up anytime I'm doing a video, but anyway, what I'm saying is that all the laws that are written up in the scripture, you cannot even keep any single one, okay, because Esau is pushing, is uplifting the disobedience of those laws, at a high level. Even the law as simple as thou shalt not covet, Esau had made it so that Jake is always looking at what the next man has and trying to get that as well. Okay, trying to get everything that they trying to get what his fellow brother has, trying to get the blessing that the Most High has given his fellow brother. From the Mr. Steal Your Girl trend that you are seeing, where basically Jake is just committing all kinds of adultery over a woman that had already been betrothed or married to somebody else through the act of sex. Or you see Jake stealing other Israelites. You see Jake stealing from each other and killing each other over this carnal shit, and over this kind of things. But this is what okay he has perpetrated on this side, and this was all because it all started from something as little or as simple as first off, from not keeping the Sabbath, okay, or of course, that's not a small thing. But I'm using it as an example. They said that, oh, not keeping the Sabbath anymore. Just a small that we can just put to the side. That it starts from little things like that, or like, or starts from little things like that. Okay, you refuse to enforce one law, and it now escalates to the level that it is that gotten to now in this kingdom, which is why the scripture says that all laws, okay, that he that transgressed in one law has transgressed all the laws, okay. That's why the scriptures are written thus, because all these laws are they always all the laws are interconnected. They back each other up in one way or another, okay. All the laws, they are standing together, and they have to be followed. All have to be followed. It's either you follow all the laws or you follow none of them. All right. But once again, I just want to say it once more that we're not under the law anymore. We're under the grace of Yahweh Shai, okay. And let me just see if I can get that precept. Let me get this one first. Saved by, and here it is, Ephesians 2 verse 8, and it reads, "For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is a gift of the Most High." Okay, let me start from the top. So like, yeah. I'll start from verse 4. Ephesians 2 verse 4, and it reads, "But the Most High, who is rich in mercy, for his great love wherewith he loved us, even when we were dead in sin, hath quickened us together with Hamashiach. By grace ye are saved." That is basically it, okay. You are saved by the grace of Yahweh Shai. Alright, so I think I'm just going to end it. Just going to bring out the little some of my thoughts on that phrase right there, "that I shall not spare." Alright, so with that, let's give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rachak Wadash, Wa Abad Babal, Shalom.